one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing would have meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa. Boss forever like they decided to throw me under slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop a million songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Winning has a price. And leadership has a price.
I kept saying, like, man, I'm mad, bro. I ain't gonna be all right.
Welcome back. Or, if you're a first-time viewer, welcome to another episode of Kicking It with Saint. We are on the road to Super Bowl 59. We know who is headed to the Super Bowl. We know the matchup. It is a rematch of Super Bowl 57. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot of people. You know, I be seeing, first off, I hope everybody had a dope day, afternoon, night, whichever point in time you listen to this. Shit could get hard out there. Keep pushing. Shit is, I'm telling you, I know things can get tough. Keep going. You got this. We have a rematch of Super Bowl 57. And, you know, I see a lot of people on Twitter tweeting shit like, oh, this not the matchup we wanted. And, oh, I can't stand that the Chiefs is back in the Super Bowl. And, oh, Jalen Hurts shouldn't have been here. And yada, yada, yada. And it's quite interesting to me that motherfuckers who say they like football continuously prove they hate football. It makes no sense. Nonetheless, we know the matchups. So we're going to talk about these last two playoff games. Now, once the Super Bowl has come and went and I did the Super Bowl recap and I wrap up this season, I do plan on in between making a playoff recap to talk about all of the playoffs and the games that I didn't talk about throughout the playoffs. So that will come eventually after the playoffs wrap up for the NFL, or after the Super Bowl wraps up, rather. But let's talk about the games that we just had. The Commanders were in Philadelphia. Now, I did talk a lot more about the AFC playoffs leading into the playoffs, and even when I made playoffs videos, I was talking about the AFC playoffs more so than the NFC, and that was for a reason. Now, usually on a normal season, when I am normally able to record and do the things that I need to do to get all the information out and all the shows out to talk about all the football that is happening, I did not do that this year. I did not have the opportunity to do that this year because of the things that were going on in my personal life. However, I said in one of my shows that the Eagles are the team that I believe are getting to the Super Bowl in the NFC. And I'll discuss that more in this show, but I specifically did not make a video talking about the NFC because I just like the past 3 years, I done predicted the team that was going to the Super Bowl before the season ended. And that is the exact team in the NFC that has gotten to the Super Bowl. It's a little bit different in the AFC because some people say, well, you done predicted it for the AFC also. It's a little bit different. For the NFC, last year I said, like halfway through the season when it was probably like 6 games left or 5 games, however many left, I said the 49ers are going to get to the Super Bowl. If they don't get hurt, this is clearly the best team in the NFC. Just based off of it being no elite quarterbacks who could take down the 49ers. Now, Jordan Love gave everybody a scare, but the 49ers still got there. Even though if Jordan Love had have beaten them and gotten there, that would not have been shocking to me because I always say the best quarterback will always... Jordan Love, to me, it was the best quarterback, but he wasn't experienced like a Lamar, a Pat Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Joe. You know what I'm saying? And then the year before that, when the Eagles got there, I said the Eagles are going to get to the Super Bowl. They are the best team in the NFC. Hell, the year before that, I told you that the Rams was going to get to the Super Bowl or whatever team in it. I done predicted the NFC pretty clean over the last couple years without needing to get to the playoffs to understand which team is going to get there, because the NFC doesn't really, in my opinion, have any. The only scare tactic or the only guy who could throw shit a little bit off course in the NFC was Matt Stafford for a little minute, even though I didn't fully believe in that. Other people did. Now the guy who can throw shit off course is Jayden Daniels, but I'm going to get to him also. In the AFC, while people can say it's easy to predict that Pat Mahomes is going to get there every year because he is Pat Mahomes, the difference is Pat Mahomes' road to the Super Bowl is still not easy. Or I don't want to say that it's easy in the NFC, but it's far tougher in the AFC. That's why I have the respect for Pat Mahomes that I have, because he has to get through Burrow, Allen, Lamar. Now you got CJ Strouds of the world. You got the Bo Nix of the world. You got what's my man's name? Justin Herberts of the world. At one point in time, people thought Trevor Lawrence was something. Like, Pat Mahomes has far more teams in the AFC that have competent quarterbacks. For one, the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL all play in the AFC. That's first. You can make an argument the top 5, 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks in the NFL play in the AFC. Nonetheless, it is far more top tier AFC quarterbacks that, like, if you made a top 10, I don't know who would be the first NFC quarterback that you would put on that list. I know who I would put on that list first, actually. And I think a lot of people would actually try to put Jayden Daniels on there right now. But before you got to Jayden Daniels, before you got to, I think Jordan Love would be the other guy if people see what I see. But people might be like, nah, Jordan Love not that guy, which further would prove my point, even though I really don't like the Jordan Love. But listen, all I'm saying is that we know the AFC is a far tougher road to the Super Bowl than it is in the NFC. Now, I want to talk about this Commanders game, because I didn't expect the Commanders to win this game. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect the Commanders to beat the Lions. I would never be surprised if they had to beat the Lions, for the simple reason I told you. I like Jared Goff, but I know what Jared Goff is. It's as simple as that. And this is not I hate when dumbass people debate, because they say a lot of dumb shit, and they like to say shit that technically it might be true, but if you really talk about it, it doesn't apply. So it's kind of like that quarterback win situation thing, where people understand what a quarterback win is and isn't, but people keep wanting to try to make the whole thing seem like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a quarterback thing. Bro, we already understand that it's a case-by-case situation. For the most part, I would rather have a Peyton Manning as my quarterback than a Brock Purdy. Because I know if everything's not great around Peyton, I'm still probably getting I'm still getting double-digit wins and a playoff berth. If I don't have everything around Purdy, I'm probably not making the playoffs. It's completely different situations. Now, The biggest reason, the same way that I picked Jayden, where I wouldn't have been shocked if Jayden had to beat the Lions, I would have been shocked if he had beaten the Eagles. I'm not going to lie. Like, people were bringing up his comeback against the Eagles when the last time they played the Eagles in the season, and I kept saying that shit does not matter because Jalen Hurts didn't play that game. Now, there's going to be a lot of Jalen Hurts talk in this episode, in this show, because if you watch the show, if you listen, you know I rock with Jalen Hurts. I've been rocking with him from the start. If you watch the show, you know that. Some of the guys who watched the show even done had we done had debates about he not thinking Jalen Hurts is that great and me defending Jalen Hurts. So I done been a big time Jalen Hurts supporter, defender, and all that. Now, granted, maybe if he never is playing for, well, I'm gonna support him anyways because he was black, so I was always gonna rock with him. But I was an Alabama fan when I watched college football, and Jalen Hurts was the quarterback for us when Jalen Hurts had locks. So I've been rocking with him ever since. When he left and went to Oklahoma, I still was rocking with him. When he went to the Eagles, I was still rocking with him. So, but in the midst of rocking with him, I think it's given me an appreciate. Well, I done said multiple times, different things have made me look at the quarterback position a lot different. Watching Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, because I don't think everybody completely understand it. People keep trying to give cop-outs like, I hate it when people discredit Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. It's one of the biggest reasons you don't see me getting on here and talking crazy about the refs every time I talk about the Chiefs, because I just don't want to diminish what Pat Mahomes is doing. Like, what Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid and them boys over there is doing is special. To consistently bring up the refs would be discrediting them. The reality is, anytime you are a team that loses to the Chiefs, you are going to feel as though it is the refs. Even if the refs played no significant part in your game, past experiences and hearing other people scream refs, refs, refs is going to have you believe that the Chiefs have won every single game and only beat top tier teams and keep getting to these positions because of the refs. However, to me, it is just impossible to continuously be what the Chiefs have been because of a ref. I've said over and over and over again, the Chiefs, like the Warriors, like LeBron teams, like Kobe teams, like Jordan teams, like Peyton teams, like Brady teams, when you are a team that is consistently won, you build up championship habits. I've seen it all throughout my career of watching sports. Teams that win and consistently put themselves in position to win, consistently build and can rely on championship habits. That's why you don't worry about, well, that's why I constantly tell you on the show, I'm not worried about how the Chiefs play during the regular season. They gearing up for the playoffs. All last year when the Eagles were struggling and we didn't really know how bad it was, a lot of people speculated it was bad because you don't like Jalen Hurts. But I said the Eagles were just preparing themselves for the Super Bowl. Now, a couple things went off the tracks for the Eagles last year, but it's funny where they ended up again this year. 3 years, 2 Super Bowl appearances. That's not an accident. For the Chiefs, Pat Mahomes has been a starter for 7 years. He done been in 5 Super Bowls now. He in the AFC Championship every year of his career. That's not the refs. Listen, I understand being annoyed. I understand when your team lose and you feel as though a call could have went your way, or they didn't have to make a certain call and this and that. I get all of that. Hell, we about to talk about the rematch for Super Bowl 57, a call that was made in that game I definitely didn't agree with. But to continuously try, I've watched these games. I watched what Pat Mahomes had to do in those Super Bowls against the 49ers. I watched him have to basically play a flawless game against the Eagles because of how great the Eagles played that game. I just refuse to believe that the referees are why Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs continue to do what they continue to do. It's just plain and simple. Now, you could say, well, maybe it's lucky. If they had to play Lamar and the Ravens, or if they had to play Joe Burrow, if they had to play, doesn't matter. To be great, you need a little bit of luck. That's just the nature of the beast. As a matter of fact, some of the greatest players are refused greatness because they weren't given that same luck. Could you imagine how many guys would be great right now if they didn't have to run into Michael Jordan, if they didn't have to run into Kobe Bryant, if they didn't have to run into that Spurs team, if they didn't have to run into that Warriors team or LeBron teams, or if teams didn't have to run into those Yankee teams or the Dodgers team that we seeing right now? Like, there's a lot of people who refuse the greatest of greatness because of the greatest of greatness. That's just how this thing goes sometimes. So I want to talk about, to wrap that up, I think, if you're a sports fan, if you're a fan of football specifically, you got to let this, the referees are the only reason you are missing out on greatness. You are robbing yourself of greatness. I get it. If you don't root for the Chiefs, you don't care about the Chiefs, yada, yada, yada. I love football. So when the Ravens get knocked out, I told you, if the Ravens are not playing the Chiefs or the Bills, I'm usually rooting for the Chiefs and the Bills because I like Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. I would never root for either of those two if they are in the way of the Ravens. Like, if I need them to lose a game to help the Ravens, I'm going to root for them to lose that game. But all in all, when things are fair, I don't hate these players. I'm just be honest with you. The only player in the NFL that I root against, as far as like I want him to lose every game, is Baker Mayfield. That is it. And I'm not even really on that no more with Baker. Because it does not matter what happens in the NFC, to be completely honest. There's not enough great top tier quarterbacks for him to not be a starter in the NFC. That's just the reality. He's not going to come back to the AFC because he's smart. He knows that it's no life to be had in the AFC with these demons over there. To be completely honest with you, I would think to myself, if I'm a quarterback, I'm looking at the AFC saying to myself, Lamar Jackson is probably a 3-time MVP, for sure 2-time MVP. Josh Allen is an MVP candidate every year. Joe Burrow is a stud. Them 3 niggas cannot consistently get past Pat Mahomes. What the fuck am I going to do to him? Could you imagine? Like, I keep seeing these moronic ass Dallas Cowboy fans tweet shit like, Josh Allen and Lamar in year 8 can't get it done. My guy, I continue to issue the same challenge to Dallas Cowboy fans. And this is not a rhetorical challenge. This is me being dead ass serious. I challenge any Cowboy fan to name and I'm not even going to say within the last 3 years, 2 years, within Dak's entire career, name the top tier quarterbacks that he beat. And I'm not talking about quarterbacks who had a good year like Sam Darnold. I'm talking, even though he still couldn't have beat Sam. I'm talking about quarterbacks who were legitimate, bona fide guys who give their team a chance. The Super Bowl window going to be open for that team every year because they got that quarterback. Meaning a Pat Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. When has Dak Prescott beat those level quarterbacks? And how many times? And I'm not just talking about those quarterbacks, but in his career, when it was those level quarterbacks on the playing field and he had to go match up against them, how many times did he beat those quarterbacks? That's the first question. Not rhetorical. Cowboy fans, you can legitimately answer this question. I am not asking you a rhetorical question. I know the answer to the question, but you can answer this question. The next question. Name the second tier quarterbacks that Dak Prescott beat. Excluding, matter of fact, I'm gonna even throw you one. And you can use the Philadelphia Eagles from last year. Even though Dallas Cowboy fans have said over and over, Jalen Hurts isn't a good quarterback. He's getting carried. They got players on their team who said shit like that. So even though me allowing you to have that, throwing you that bone, would be contradictory to what Dallas Cowboys and the fans have said themselves and players about Jalen Hurts, I'll give you the one time you beat him last year when we knew the Eagles weren't the same team. Okay, I'll give you that. So, name me that second level of quarterbacks that Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have beaten in his career. When I say second tier, the CJ Strouds of the world, the Justin Herberts of the world, hell, you could have used Bo Nix from this year, use Jayden Daniels, quarterbacks like that, even though Jayden's going to be in that first tier very soon. Jalen Hurts is of the world. When is he beating those teams? So those are basically teams that were great for 1 year or for a year or two. Not the teams that are always great, But quarterbacks who are that level, they can have the down year sometimes. When is Dak beating those teams? My next question. With all of the quarterbacks in the NFC, and these are not rhetorical questions, once again, with all the quarterbacks that are currently in the NFC, that every Cowboy fan think Dak is better than, how many times have he beaten those teams? Meaning, the Lions with Jared Goff, the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. I'm getting very specific. Brock Purdy and the 49ers. When has he beaten those teams since Dak is better than those quarterbacks? Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Cause I'm tired of playing this game with y'all Cowboy fans. These are not rhetorical questions once again. Cause you niggas keep trying to put Dak in the same sentence as other quarterbacks who are far better than him. Go look at the schedule that Dak and them played last year. That is the only reason Dak and those boys had the stats he had. And go look at the games he played against top teams last year. And look at what he did before the game was over in the fourth quarter and he was stat padding. That's all the Cowboys are. Every single time you answer any of those questions I just gave you, and I'm being very fair because I actually have more questions, every answer would be from his rookie year, when Zeke was the one actually carrying the team. I like Dak Prescott, but to continuously try to act as if Dak Prescott is on the tier of some of these other quarterbacks is insane. Dak Prescott at no point in time in his career, for any stretch of his career, has shown you he can beat the top tier quarterbacks, the second tier quarterbacks that people would consider him in, or top tier teams. He can't beat the teams that's good every year. He can't beat the teams that's having a breakout year. Dak Prescott is not a bad quarterback, but Dak Prescott is not a changer of his team's fortunes. He is not going to make everything better. He does not make players around him better. Dak Prescott is a product of everything around him. If you take things away, Dak Prescott looks worse. When you give him all these fancy toys and these shiny weapons, he looks great, but it doesn't matter what you have when you play against great players. And the problem that I'm having with Dak is it ain't even great quarterbacks he losing against. He ain't losing against a Pat Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow in the playoffs every year. I could excuse that. He losing to Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Well, he did lose to Aaron Rodgers. But that was just that to me just showed you can't beat the elites and you can't beat the guys like the Brock Purdys, the Jalen Hurts and those guys. Which brings me to Jalen Hurts. And this is why I have always argued Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Because I don't care how you see. I think one of the biggest problems with a lot of fans is they just love watching stats. And this is why I always say I hate stats. Because them shits work for both teams. They can work for anybody depending on what stats you use, how you flip them, how you toss. I don't like fucking stats. I understand sometimes you can bring them up and use them in situations and shit like that. But the fact that people rely on stats to tell every single thing and every story. Now, everything I saw was because of what I saw from the stats. It's just absolutely insane. You're supposed to see the game and it should reflect the game you seeing it, and then you should see the stats and say, yeah, that's pretty much what I saw from the game. You should not look at the stats and then use the stats to shape how the game should have played out in your head. Like to me, that's insane. Stats literally, I'm not even gonna say that sentence because I don't like it. But nonetheless, when Jalen Hurts, if I ask the exact same questions about Dak Prescott, and I give you those questions to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, you can answer hella questions. Jalen Hurts done beaten, and I'm not even going to get to the Super Bowl appearance. Jalen Hurts and them boys done beaten the Bills. They done beaten the Ravens. They done beaten the Bengals. That's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts beat those boys. Now, I get he don't see them multiple times a year, but when he did see them, he beat them. And I don't care how the games played out. I don't care who was on. Josh, Lamar, and Burrow were all on the field when they played those games, and Jalen Hurts walked away with the victory. Dak Prescott cannot say that. Jalen Hurts can. I believe Jalen Hurts beat the Chiefs in the regular season also. So Jalen Hurts has proven he can beat the top tier teams, the top tier quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has also beaten the Jared Goffs, the Brock Purdy's, the Tuas, all those secondary teams, the Chargers, all the teams like that, Jalen Hurts beats those teams too. Now, some people might say, well, Saint, he got A.J. Brown, he got Devontae Smith. Look at his defense. Look at his offensive line. So what? Dak done had those exact things also. Dak done had great offensive lines, great running backs, great receivers on the field at the same time. Dak Prescott has not been one of those quarterbacks who had to go multiple years without having weapons or a defense or things like that. That's just not true. It's not true. We continue to doubt Jalen Hurts. We continue to say what Jalen Hurts can and can't do. But you want to know what I think one of the greatest things about Jalen Hurts is? Jalen Hurts is egoless. Now, you can never truly be egoless because you need ego in order to be able to succeed. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about being an egomaniac, anything like that. But if you don't understand your worth, it's probably, I don't want to say it like that. Having an ego would allow you to understand your worth. Now, I know some jackasses will say shit like that and just be outrageous, but you won't allow yourself to be treated a certain type of way if you have the right type of ego, because you're going to have self-worth. You're going to understand one's self-worth. So I don't think anyone should be egoless. However, to not allow your ego to run your personality and allow you to, you know what I'm saying, allow you to go off the rails, I think that's one of the things that makes Jalen Hurts such a great quarterback. You want to know another thing that I think make Jalen Hurts a great quarterback? What happened to him in college? Being replaced by Tua, when they didn't say it, and I know Saban tried his best to keep Jalen Hurts happy, but they didn't have faith that you could get them over that hump anymore. Jalen Hurts having experienced that at a young age when he had already won a national championship with a team, that's, to me, that can put a lot of things in perspective for you. Even at your highest, you can still follow it up with an unbelievable, unexpected low. And how you bounce back from that can determine everything. I think Jalen Hurts having these up and downs in his career and understand people saying he can't throw or he can't read a defense or he can only throw dig routes or he only good because of talent around him. We done seen so many players have talent around them and still not be able to do. And the only slight, and I really don't like saying this because it is going to sound like a slight, the only thing that I'll give to the Eagles is the fact that they weaker conference. Like, they play in the NFC. I don't know if this team would have made two trips to the big dance in 3 years if they played in the AFC, but they don't play in the AFC, so we don't have to speculate. To me, Jalen Hurts being the type of person he is, the person he is what's allowing him to be the player and the quarterback he is. And that's allowing the Eagles to be the team that they are. If Jalen Hurts was a different type of player, they wouldn't have Saquon. But because Jalen Hurts is the type of player he is, not only do they have Saquon can flourish. Jalen Hurts don't give a fuck about people saying Saquon carrying this team. Jalen Hurts done said it time and time and time again. The only thing that matters, or is the only thing that's supposed to matter, is winning. That's it. The glory and the praise go to everybody once we win. Jalen Hurts understanding that, for one, that show you that he done been raised right. He done been coached right. He done been a very coachable person. I think Jalen Hurts is amazing. I done said it multiple times. Is he Lamar, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, or a Joe Burrow level player? No. But Jalen Hurts is a damn great quarterback, and that's why I always put him in my top 10, because Jalen Hurts to me, and I done said this time and time again. Now, Jayden Daniels threw a curve into this because of what he became this year, but before Jayden came into the picture, it was only one quarterback in the NFC I would have taken over Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, because Jordan Love's physical ability is unreal. However, because Jordan Love does not play the game in the way Jalen Hurts plays the game. See, people always talk about, that's why I say I hate stats, because people look at the stats and say, oh, Jalen Hurts didn't throw for 300 yards, so he couldn't have been the reason. And Saquon ran for 200. Jalen Hurts understanding that I don't need to throw this ball. Saquon can win us this game. That's great. You talk about game managers, but then you're mad when a dude managed the game the proper way. For one, I'm not going to be facetious. I know what a game manager is, but you have to understand that the greats manage the game. Pat Mahomes, look at how great he managed games. One of the greatest things about LeBron James is how unbelievably great a game manager he is. In his prime, I don't know if I've seen a player quite like it that could control the tempo of a game in the way of which LeBron James could. It was so unreal. And I think the reason that he lost so many times to Steph Curry is because Steph Curry is the great disruptor. LeBron was so used to being able to control the game because it's almost like he done seen every type of archetype you could have seen. So he knew exactly what to do, when to do it, how to get people involved, where to put them, how to get them there. He knew exactly what needed to be done to continuously control the game and to keep it where he needed so he could ultimately get the win. And then Steph Curry came into the picture and threw all of that shit off because you can't game plan for somebody like that. It's like I said, it's the great disruptor, essentially. Steph Curry came into the picture and he said, you haven't seen an archetype like me. I'm going to fuck this all up to where you can't manage the game the same. It's a great dynamic. Maybe I'll have that conversation about the great of Steph Curry and LeBron one day, an intricate conversation about it. But Jalen Hurts to me is just, I wish more people were not like Jalen Hurts, the football player, but like Jalen Hurts, the person. I just think the way I talked about Lamar Jackson last week, I'm basically the message of the show today is it's no accident. Like Jalen Hurts is not, Pat Mahomes is not in his position because of an accident, because of the refs, because of this and that. Jalen Hurts is not in this position because Saquon, because of all the weapons they got. They didn't have Saquon the first time they got to the Super Bowl. And before Saquon got there, Saquon had a lot of seasons where he couldn't stay healthy. Like, to take all the credit away from Jalen Hurts to me is insanity. Jalen Hurts was a champion in college. He led men in college. He lead men now. Like, Jalen Hurts is a special athlete. Like I said before, if you only look at Jalen Hurts in the lens of, well, he can't do what Lamar or Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen can do, then you're missing the whole point and you're robbing yourself of a hell of a career. Because what Jalen Hurts is doing in his career right now is unbelievable. Is it on the level of Pat Mahomes? No, but I don't understand the reasons that we need to compare. But Jalen Hurts is doing it. And one of my biggest problems is we give credit to Kyle Shanahan, how dominant his run has been in the NFC. But we keep making people keep trying to throw shade and shots at Jalen Hurts. I never see this same criticism thrown at Joe Burrow. He has had talent on his offense. All pro level talent. We done seen quarterbacks in hell. Detroit, look at the talent they done had. Look at the talent we done seen so many different teams have. And they have not done what Jalen Hurts and this Eagles team has been able to do. Also, this Eagles front office done built a hell of a fucking team. Whether it be from trades, signs, or draft picks. This team has been unbelievable at building this team, which will also lead me to Nick Sirianni, who I also defended on a numerous amount of times because I just didn't understand why people were saying fire Nick Sirianni last year. I don't think people understand that when the Eagles, this group of the Eagles, I know some dudes on the team that had went to that previous Super Bowl with Nick Foles and the dudes, but the Jalen Hurts led Eagles, bro, when you get to a Super Bowl, you essentially just played a longer season than everybody else. So your offseason is essentially shorter just by default. They had to figure out how to fight through that. And they play in a weak-ass NFC, so of course they were going to find ways to beat certain teams. But when the shit got rocky, they started not necessarily folding, but they didn't know how to necessarily handle it. They back on their shit this year, and look where they at. Like, I just have a great deal of respect for, shout out to Roquan. I have a great deal of respect for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I just absolutely love Jalen Hurts. And I know right now I'm basically on my I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. But I didn't want to get on here and do that. I wanted to explain to people why I feel the way I feel about Jalen Hurts. If you continuously try to look at this man from, oh, he don't throw the ball like the other top quarterbacks, or he got talent. Bro, essentially every quarterback who you keep saying like, oh, he can't do with this, they had great talent around him. Have Lamar Jackson had the receiver talent or offensive because Lamar to me this year is the best the best offensive skill group Lamar has ever had is this year. Now, is that on the level of having a Tyreek with a Kelsey or a Jamar Chase with a Tyler Boyd and a T. Higgins and a Joe Mixon, or what Jalen Hurts got at his disposal, what the Rams have or what the 49ers have? No. But the point is, you see all the other teams that I just named that have, like, obviously the Chiefs don't have those weapons anymore. And Diggs isn't on the Bills anymore. But look at how many other teams, specifically in the NFC, have a load of fucking talent. The Niners, the Cowboys before the Cowboys watch their talent leave out the building or get old, so we can't include them in this anymore. But you look at the 49ers, you look at the Rams offense, and I'm talking about the offensive talent. Rams, 49ers. We thought the Cardinals had offensive talent over there. I'm not quite sure what's going on with them boys. You look at all that talent on the Bears offense. You look at all the talent on the Eagles offense. You look at all the talent on the Lions offense. You look at all the talent on the Minnesota offense. You look at all the talent on the Falcon offense. You look at all that talent on the Tampa Bay offense. You look at all that talent on the Green Bay offense. Like, Jalen Hurts is not the only dude with talent on his offense in the NFC. I'm sorry to break that to you, but this narrative that Jalen Hurts is only getting there because he has talent is just fucking not true. Everybody has talent on their team in the NFC. Oh, well, he got A.J. Brown. Nigga, Baker Mayfield has... apologies. Nigga, Baker Midfield has Mike Evans. What are we talking about? But nothing, my nigga. It's great offenses and talent. Sam Darnold had Justin Jefferson and Addison. What are we fucking talking about? Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua play on the same fucking team. What are we talking about? Like, I'm tired of hearing niggas say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts only got talent, that's why he... No, it's not. No, it's not. And quite frankly, the reason you feel the way you feel is because you haven't reached this level of maturity that Jalen Hurts has reached. Because if you had, you would not continuously try to find reasons to discredit Jalen Hurts, like you niggas keep doing Lamar Jackson. I really don't understand it, how niggas wake up every day and be hyped up to discredit somebody. It's insanity to me. Jayden Daniels in Washington, you have nothing to be ashamed of. It was a hell of a season. A hell of a season. You one of them boys. And to be quite frank with you, if Washington do this thing the right way, and they got Magic Johnson over there, so I'm almost certain they will. If any of his other endeavors are proof of that. You already ahead of the curve. Because you might not have the team that the Eagles have. But what you need to remember is you don't need that team either. You see, when you have a Jayden Daniels, the same thing I've been saying about a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow, a Josh. I really haven't said it about Joe Burrow as much. But Josh, Lamar, Mahomes. What I say about those three all the time. They can have less against a team that has far more. And I'm still picking them. Because they are the great equalizer. As a matter of fact, they are so great, in my opinion, that what you have is not even an equalizer at this point. I'm still picking them. They are still the better team because of their quarterback. That is Jayden Daniels to me. However, this was a rookie year. As long as the coaching is great, and I have faith in Quinn, his offensive coordinators, and yada, 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 he got weapons. I think Jayden Daniels is now about to be in competition with... Now, it's really tough because the Eagles are in your division. But I believe the only thing that's going to stop the Eagles from getting to this dance every year for the next couple years is Jayden Daniels. unless Jordan Love still become what I believe he can become, Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders are going to be the team that can stop. Well, it's not even just the Eagles. It's all the teams in the NFC, because most of these teams in it. Now, I would put, if I'm ranking quarterbacks in the NFC, it's Jalen Hurts, Jayden Daniels. Going into next year, I'm more than likely going to have Jayden Daniels over Jalen Hurts, just because off of just, and you just heard me wax poetically about Jalen Hurts, and then now I know some people going to be mad at me like, well, how the fuck can you put him under Jayden Daniels? Listen, Eagle fans, I promise you don't love Jalen Hurts more than me, because you probably did not watch him at Bama. If you did, okay, shout out to you. However, I promise you this is not a slight at Jalen Hurts. But I am not going to sit on here and lie just because I like a nigga. From what my eyes tell me, Jayden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC going into next year. Jalen Hurts will be my number 2 in the NFC. Number 3 will more than likely be Jordan Love. Everybody else does not matter unless Caleb Williams goes crazy, or unless they draft a rookie quarterback that goes crazy. But Jayden Daniels is going to have an opportunity to be in contention for a Super Bowl every year if the landscape of the NFC doesn't change significantly as far as quarterback play. Because I believe that Washington will put together a better team going forward for Jayden. Because of how great he already is, I expect him to beat teams like the 49ers, like the Detroit Lions, like the Minnesota Vikings. I understand those are teams that might not have quarterbacks on his level, but the team have a lot of things working for him. But that's the next part of Jayden Daniels' growth to become a superstar quarterback on the level of Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and them boys. You become that when you consistently can beat those top tier teams. Like Jayden Daniels is playing against the Lions today. I need you to win that. Jayden Daniels is playing against the Niners today. I need you to win that. The only games that should be up for grab for Jayden Daniels, in my opinion, going forward, should be if I play against Green Bay, because that's Jordan Love. Or if you play against the Eagles, because not only is that the Eagles, but that's also a division opponent. Or possibly if you play against Stafford, because he might be on one of them days where he actually playing like a competent quarterback. But aside from that, or unless Caleb Williams become a stud, outside of that, I expect Jayden Daniels to be a dog in the NFC. Commander fans shouldn't have anything to be disappointed in. You did get your ass waxed in the final game of the season. You did get waxed. Like, the Eagles put belt to ass. It was crazy. But Jayden Daniels had three fumbles, not Jayden Daniels specifically, but they had 3 fumbles before my boy could even look up. I mean, the way they was fumbling, well, they had that other fumble, and I think it was in the third quarter when Austin Eckler fumbled the ball when he was trying to get up, but a lot of turnovers. And you can't turn the ball over like that against Philly. In Philly. Philly's defense is unbelievable. They saw what Philly's defense was last year, and they said, we will not have this shit again next year. And boy, oh boy, did they fix that. Because what I saw from Philadelphia last year in the playoffs was some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life watching defensive play. The way them niggas refused to tackle last year was unfucking real. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that or like that in my life watching football. That shit was insane. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles for fixing up that defense. Nick Sirianni, man. All I heard was, oh, he bad because he lost this guy. He lost that guy. Back on track. Back on track. In this society, having one bad year, or not even a bad year, losing in the playoffs, all of a sudden, he should be. I can't do it with you, Twitter coaches and Twitter GMs. Let's get to Josh Allen and Mahomes. It happened again. I have faith that Josh Allen was going to figure this thing out this time, but Pat Mahomes is inevitable He is dreaded, run from it. Destiny still arrives, all the same. Pat Mahomes is unreal. When you need a play, when you need a drive, 1-5 gonna give it to him. When you need a miracle, 1-5 gonna give it to him. People in Kansas City, if they switch their faith from God and Jesus to Pat Mahomes, I'd understand it, because he got to be the closest thing to Jesus Christ they done ever seen. What Pat Mahomes has been to and I'm fully on board with thinking they are going to win a three-peat. They are going to be the first team in NFL history to win 3 Super Bowls back to back to back. This could quite frankly be one of the greatest dynasties, if not the greatest, because of how hard it is to do what they just did in any sport of all time. What Pat Mahomes, but I don't want to, and I'm not taking away credit from all the others on the Chiefs, because I give credit to the Chiefs others all the time. The fact that they had this championship mentality and they understand they have to play their roles to a T in order to achieve greatness, and the way they play for Pat Mahomes, to me, is admirable. And when you have guys on your squad that understand, I'm not the superstar, I am the guy that's supposed to build up this superstar. That's the superstar of our group. Let me do everything in my power to make sure he get to where he need to go, because him getting to where he need to go gonna make sure I get to where I need to go. But if I fight against this and say, nah, I'm just as good as him, I'm gonna do my own thing, then that's where this ship get rocky. The fact that you got all these people working in unison, understanding we all a part of Mahomes' legacy, and if we don't do what we need to do, then they gonna talk about him. They could have talked about him the way they talk about Josh or Lamar or all these other quarterbacks who haven't done what Pat Mahomes has been able to do. So I give nothing but respect to the others. But that nigga who wear 1-5 on his jersey, Lord have mercy. I done said it multiple times. Time and time again, I done said it. I have nothing but respect for Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady. 1-5 is the greatest quarterback I have ever seen. And it's very interesting because I think that the most skilled quarterback, just like pure talent I've ever seen, I'm almost certain is Lamar Jackson. I don't know that I've ever seen a quarterback that can do as much and got as much talent, just pure talent on his own, as a Lamar Jackson. Pat Mahomes is second. But as far as like when you put the entire package together, like Lamar might be the greatest, but to me, that's the thing. While I think Lamar might be the greatest, like individual pure talent I've ever seen in a quarterback, Pat Mahomes is a fucking, like a very close second. And then Brady might be the greatest winner I've ever seen, but Pat is such a close second. Now, essentially, none of these things could possibly matter because I still think Pat Mahomes is the greatest quarterback that I have ever seen. It's unreal to me when you put everything together. But see, this is the difference. Brady might be the greatest winner, but he is nowhere near like the greatest pure talented quarterback I've ever seen. And Lamar Jackson may be the greatest pure quarterback I've ever seen as far as his talent, but he's not the greatest winner I've ever seen at that quarterback position. You can put both of those together for Pat Mahomes. He one of the greatest winners and greatest pure talent I've ever seen at the quarterback. Now, I take nothing away from Lamar. He is one of the greatest winners as far as like, they do a lot of winning with Lamar, but as far as like the big wins in the playoffs, the Super Bowl that Pat and Brady have, I can't put him there yet. Mahomes is unreal to me. Still king. At this point, it's going to take, I don't know what it's going to take to beat this nigga. Another Mahomes. You need to go into his building or into your building with exactly what Joe Burrow had. And this is why I do have respect for Joe Burrow. Now, I'm not finna keep glazing him beating Pat Mahomes because it led to nothing. But if you can get a quarterback that can play on the level of because I don't think it's exclusively Joe Burrow. To me, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen all play good. To be quite frank with you, Josh Allen actually had the best pure performance against the Chiefs, not Joe Burrow, just because Joe Burrow and them won that game. People just don't give credit to the defense of the Bengals at all. But Lou Anarumo became a big time guy because of that, what he was able to do to Pat Mahomes in that game. But I believe Mahomes. I mean, I believe Burrow, Allen, and Lamar in the games that they played against Mahomes in the playoffs. Every single one of them played good enough to win those games. As a matter of fact, against most quarterbacks, they would have won those games with those performances. It's just fucking Pat Mahomes. That's the difference. Usually, quarterbacks of the level of a Lamar, a Burrow, or Allen don't have to face another quarterback that is that on their level. In the AFC, they do. You see, as great as Brady was, he didn't have to face another Tom Brady every year. He had Peyton Manning, don't get me wrong, and I was finna get to that. But Peyton didn't play in his division, and while he did have to play Peyton every year, he knew I gotta beat Peyton, and then I'm probably getting to the Super Bowl. That's not me discrediting any other quarterback in the AFC at that time. Pat Mahomes is saying I gotta probably beat Mahomes. I gotta probably beat Allen, Lamar, Burrow. Probably gotta beat two of them niggas to get to where I need to go to. It might be those rare years like this year where I didn't have to beat both of them, but I still had to beat CJ Stroud. 15 is unreal. He is unshaken, unbroken, unmoving in these situations. It's unreal. And I'm Andy Reid, bro. When the game is on the line, I'm giving it to 1-5. I'm gonna let that nigga do whatever he want to do. What do you think we need to do, Mahomes? Whatever you think we need to do, that's what we doing. I'm putting all my faith in 1-5 because I done seen him get it done so many times. The Chiefs need to go get that man some real help, bro. Go get him a legitimate number one receiver again, man. He done got you to 3 Super Bowls since you traded away Tyreek Hill. He done saved you money and rewarded you with his greatness. Let's go make this thing easier on him. Let him get back to throwing that thing all over the field again. I can't imagine I can imagine. I know exactly what it's going to look like when he get another deep threat. He going to look like Brady and Randy Moss that year. I'm just telling you right now. Get ready for it. If Tyreek end up back in Kansas City, Lord have mercy. It might be a faux Pete. Lord. 1-5 is special. He is already the top 5 athletes I've ever watched. Top 5. Top 5 for me that I've watched. I cannot stress enough that I watched. Not the highlights that I got to watch them play in their real life. Not real life, in real time. Like, I'm not talking about going back and watching Jordan highlights or going back and watching highlights from no. I'm talking about players that I watched with my own 2 eyes. I watched multiple seasons of them play. I can tell you their careers, how it went, because I watched their careers play out. All right. That being said, Mahomes already top 5. I think in my top 5 is like LeBron, Curry, Kobe, Brady, Mahomes. Yeah. That's my top 5 athletes all time for me. And then if the list kept going, you have Peyton, you have KD, you have Tiger Woods. Serena Williams would actually be be 6 and then move everybody else down. You would have, oh damn, I forgot, big dog, Simone Biles. Simone Biles actually is in my top 5. Fuck. I gotta take somebody out. Brady. I might gotta take you out, bro. Simply because I really don't want to take none of the black people out. I know somebody gonna hear that and get triggered. Like, oh, this racist. But I cannot deny Simone Biles' greatness, bro. Simone Biles is not just like the greatest gymnast in America. She's like the greatest gymnast in the fucking planet, on the planet. It's a difference. And I watched her from like when Simone Biles first came into the spotlight. Like, I've been watching her whole career, so it's crazy. Anyways, back to the football. Mahomes is unreal. Now, I know some people are going to talk about, I don't like the, well, I do feel bad. I don't necessarily feel bad in the sense of woe is me. But I'm just like, God damn, man, when is Josh or Lamar gonna get their turn? And it's not me saying that in a way of I don't have faith in them. I really get annoyed when I see fans of either two fan bases, and it's more so Raven fans that do it than Bills fans, when they start to doubt their quarterback. Like, my nigga, what kind of structure are you made of, bro? Like, what are you built of, bro? This the quarterback of your team, and you got the, because I be seeing Raven fans tweet, man, I just don't know if I could trust Lamar ever, man. Like, nigga, go root for somebody else then. When I see people, if I'm a Bills fan and I tweet, I just can't trust Josh Allen no more, man. Well, go tweet for somebody else then, nigga. Like, your quarterback is not Dak Prescott, bro. He does not give you room to question him. You take the good with the bad because it's way more good. You just got to understand they playing a demon in the AFC named Pat fucking Mahomes. And that's just how that thing played out. All right, have faith. Lamar and Josh Allen are going to get to a Super Bowl, and they're going to win it. It just haven't happened yet. But it will, and you know it will. That's why you keep watching. The real tragedy for Bills fans, and I kind of understand it, because if I were in this position as a Raven fan, I think I'd be the same way. I think Bill fans, and the reason they so aggressively toxic at times towards other fan bases is because, and they'll never admit it, but they know this is the truth. The same ones don't let this type of shit get to them. But I think this is why you got so many crazed Bill fans. They know how great Josh Allen is, and I'm pretty sure they know how other people know how great Josh Allen is. But the reason they choose to shit on Lamar Jackson and go so crazy at him and make the jokes that they make about him, or about Burrow, or about anybody, which is crazy about Burrow because they haven't even beat Burrow. But I think the reason they do that is because they know how great Josh Allen is. We know how great Josh Allen is. But he don't have nothing to show for it, and they really hate that. Like, it'd be one thing that he haven't made a Super Bowl appearance or gotten a Super Bowl. But he don't got a first team nod. He don't have an MVP nod. He got Pro Bowls. He don't got an Offensive Player of the Year nod. They looking at Lamar and saying, well, he ain't got to a Super Bowl, but he got 3 MVPs. Joe Burrow ain't won a Super Bowl, but he done been to one. They saying, what does our guy have to show for his greatness? Like, we know how great he is, but what does he have to show for his greatness? And they feel like they got to attack everybody else because they want to defend his honor. And so now it's, he got robbed of this, or they cheated us on this, because they feel that pressure of, bro, our guy has nothing, but he is great, so we want the, bro, y'all don't need to worry about shit like that. We know Josh Allen is great. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Fans don't really realize how stupid they are, because fans dictate how people get talked about. It would be one thing with the media talking about players the way they do, but if fans collectively understood how hard this shit was and understood do you really believe that Lamar Jackson fans will go crazy at Josh Allen fans if Josh Allen fans and Lamar Jackson fans, and vice versa, if both fan bases just took a minute to say, man, that nigga got to play against Mahomes every year just like we got to? If Josh Allen fans looked at him and said, shit, not only do he got to battle Mahomes every year like we do, but he got Joe Burrow in his division, man. Like, I got nothing but respect for Lamar. I got nothing but respect for Allen. Like, if niggas actually stopped hating, like, and made shit so personal, like y'all niggas live and breathe off of this shit, neither of your quarterbacks would be talked about in the manner that they get talked about by each fan base. But, you know, niggas is what they are. Now, I'm one of those rare places where I uplift both quarterbacks. Now, I wasn't going to lie to you and tell you that Josh Allen had a better season than Lamar, because that would have been absolutely insane. It's not even just the numbers. Like, I love Josh Allen, but this was not the year that he could win MVP over what Lamar Jackson did. That you would have looked back every year and said that was a robbery if he did not win a Super Bowl. And to put that pressure on Josh Allen to have to go out there and win a Super Bowl to validate an MVP he should not have won would have been insanity to me. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Plus, to me, when you win awards that you clearly should not have won because of writers and voters, that don't put a stain on your legacy, but it stained the award, in my opinion. Like, Steve Nash should not have 2 MVPs over Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. Shit like that is annoying. That's why I don't like the MVP in the NBA. Steph Curry and LeBron James should have way more MVP awards than they have. I don't like the MVP award in the NBA. The NFL MVP, to me, usually go to who the fuck it's supposed to go to. I like how the MVP in the NFL is set up. I don't care that niggas keep saying, oh, it's going to go to the best quarterback on the best team. That team probably is not the best team if it's not for their quarterback. And I also want to inject and say, we do not give that MVP award out to the best team with the best quarterback. Niggas is not giving that award to Alex Smith when the 49ers was balling with Jim Harbaugh and all those stuff. Niggas did not give the MVP to Brock Purdy. Niggas is not giving it to Sam Darnold, Jared Goff. Like, stop it. They giving it the MVP to niggas who was actually legends. Like, let's stop bullshitting ourselves trying to say, oh, only quarterbacks win. Nigga, Peyton Manning should be winning that whole 6 years out of a row. Because 6 years in his career. Because he probably should have won it 10 years of his career. Like, I'm tired of playing this game where we act like the quarterback ain't the nigga who actually deserved the MVP. Oh, it's a quarterback award. You damn right it is. Because if your team don't have a quarterback, you shouldn't even be worried about this award. But I digress. Bill fans, my message for you is a little bit different than what I told Washington. Because Washington plays in the NFC. So I would be disingenuous if I gave you the exact same message I gave Washington. Because it's so very clear that we do not have, and I say we not because I'm a Bills fan, but because I'm a Ravens fan. We do not have the luxury to say, we just get him next year, Tiger. Because Lamar, Burrow, and Allen is still over there. CJ Stroud is still over there. His boy's going to be healthy next year. And Mahomes still lives in the AFC. So, my message to Bill fans would be, good luck next year. And just keep the faith. Keep believing. I really can't give you nothing else. I done said it 100 times. It's a real demon living in the AFC named Pat Mahomes. I don't know what the fuck we do about this man. I don't. Still king. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. You could be anything in the world. So please choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I fuck with you. I love you. Saint out.
You find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face. Do not be troubled. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.